Well, thanks so much, ladies and gentlemen. It's an honor to be here with you today in Andrews, Texas, and I appreciate the PRSC's work in bringing us all together today. Ellen and her team do a terrific job. I want to tell you that in the oil and gas industry, safety is not a slogan. It is a way of life. It is a priority, and we are glad to be here with you today to discuss this and to give an update on the oil and gas industry. But before we do, let's give a round of applause to the DPS team that's here today and just thank them one more time for the work that they do. I tell you what, Texas is a proud state. We have much to be proud of, a lot to be thankful for. Obviously, there's a lot more Red Raiders here than there are Aggies, but we're going to try to keep the ball moving just the same. And I'm glad to be here with you. I tell you, my grandfather actually was killed on an oil rig when he was in his 20s. He's buried in Fort Stockton, Texas. And so safety in the oil industry is very important to my family. It's very personal. And I'm glad to have been a part of watching as this industry came together and formed the PRSC just a few years ago. They believe in the future of the Permian Basin, the Permian Road Safety Coalition, the Permian Strategic Partnership, many different elements that are coming together at Texoga, having our workers' comp safety group, and the safety programs are very important. Appreciate Neil Carlton working with Texas Mutual and making certain that these safety programs are available to the men and women in the oil patch. I want to give you an industry update today, and just to tell you a little bit about what's going on. I want to transition a little bit from safety, though, to another area for just a moment. The reason that oil and gas is able to perform in Texas the way it does is because we have been issued a social license to operate. So what is that one factor that influences the social license to operate more than anything else? Anybody have a clue? It's politics. I know it's hard to go from insurance to politics. It's a good thing you've eaten already, right? But it's important, and I want to talk to you about just that just for a little bit here today as we go through some things. I've got a pop quiz for you. You didn't know you were going to have to take a test today. There will be prizes awarded, so you have to participate in this for me. These are numbers that were present in the March 2024 primary. You know, we're fixing to vote again in November, but I wanted you to be able to look at that set of numbers on the right there and tell me which set of these numbers represents the number of registered voters in Texas. Is it 18 million, 22 million, or 24 million? And these two guys right here that will be our special guests here in just a moment are ineligible to participate. But 22, all right, I've heard 22. 24, 18 million. There are in March of 2024, there were 17.7 million Texans registered to vote. Good guesses. I would have thought that too. But let me ask you the next one, the one on the right. What percentage of registered voters actually voted? So out of that 18 million Texans, what percentage actually voted here in the March 2024 primary? 20, 30, or 40? We have to arm wrestle. 20%. 18.54 to be exact. I want you to think about that. 1 out of 5 people, less than 1 out of 5 people actually took time to vote this March to decide the future of their state, the future of their country, who they wanted representing them. And I know you all voted, so I'm not going to ask show of hands who voted this March. But what you can do, and what I want to talk to a little bit about today, is how important it is to carry that forward this November and to vote so that we can have a state and a nation that we can be proud of. Look, folks, it's a privilege to be able to, it's a right and a responsibility to be able to vote and determine your future. Many countries around the world do not have that same opportunities that you have. What country in the world has the most oil and gas resources? You'd think it's Texas, right? I mean, we'd think that, right? We'd think Texas is our own country or the United States. It's not. Guess what country it is? Venezuela. Are they waiting in food lines in Venezuela? Yes. Do they have enough water in Venezuela? No. They have the most resources, but they don't develop those resources just like we do here in the state of Texas. Is because they don't participate and they don't stand up for what their rights and their freedoms are. And so I want us to think about that just a little bit, about the political implications, the importance of being involved, because it does make a difference. Now, Texas is a leader on a number of different fronts, and I want that. I tried to see my staff to make Texas a little bit bigger part of the United States right there. That was the most they could do graphically. We're going to work on that to make it encompass all of it. Texas leads the nation. We're in 43% of our crude oil production in the nation is from the Lone Star State. 28% of the natural gas production is from the Lone Star State. We outpace any others by far. It's not because we just happen to have the most in the world. It's because of the ingenuity. It's because the men and women that are represented in this room today, the role that you play, whether you're a vendor, you're a service provider, or you're a local elected official who makes certain that good things happen in your community. That's the reason that we're able to do these amazing things. And we have an economist at Texaco that we hired a couple of years ago. He came up with some new numbers. If you've been keeping up with it, we've been breaking records just one after the other in terms of production. And according to our latest estimates by Dr. Foreman, Texas oil production in July of 2024 is 5.76 million barrels of crude oil a day for the Lone Star State, 3.85 million barrels per day of NGLs, and 32.8 BCF of natural gas. That is an amazing number, and it's amazing because what's the rig count been doing? It's been declining while production has been going up. And I want to talk to Dean Craddock and Senator Sparks about that here in just a few moments when we get through this. And the reason that we are so successful is because of the products that are made from oil and natural gas. From makeup to medicine to tires to toothpaste, the water bottles on your table, the smartphones in your hand, all have a component of oil or natural gas that makes these products possible. Have y'all heard the term energy transition before? Some people are confused about what that means. I think that means energy addition. I think what it's really talking about is energy expansion, because we need more energy for more people in the world. And this industry in Texas has been leading in many ways. Not only has our production been increasing, but our environmental performance has been increasing as well. According to reports by the Texas Railroad Commission, who's led by Chairman Christy Craddock, a name that we know well in this part of Texas and others, data shows that the flaring rate in Texas was less than 1%, meaning that 99% of the gas produced in Texas was used for beneficial uses. These are good statistics that we're seeing. Of the top 10 countries of flared volumes across the globe, the United States made the most progress in reducing emissions. Have you heard or read that in the news lately? You won't, will you? But that's the truth, because the United States is leading the way. From 2019 to 2022, the United States cut flared volumes by more than half, nearly a 54% increase. Between 2011 and 2022, the Permian Basin methane emissions intensity fell by nearly 85%. That means while production was skyrocketing, emissions were declining, and it's because of a commitment from this industry to deliver on the issues that are of concern to our citizens. Just like in the safety arena, the environmental progress has been pretty phenomenal. Now, while this has been happening, that means good things are happening for our state economy, for our national economy, and it means good things are happening to countries across the globe who depend on the United States of America, who have recognized the aggression that Russia has shown has to be put in check. And so we're exporting more and more refined product and crude product. And you can see on the screen, I'm a big believer not reading to you what you can read on the screen. And so I want you to take a look at these countries and areas where our products from Texas and the United States are going and improving lives. Just 2023, Texas exported over $221 billion of energy products. That's an amazing figure. It continues to grow. And it's because of the hard work of men and women in the oil and natural gas industry that 2023 was a blockbuster of a year. It shattered all records in terms of state and local taxes that were paid and state royalties that were paid. In fact, that number was $26.3 billion in state and local taxes and state royalties. These dollars are used to fund our roads, our first responders, our schools, our universities, and much more. And even an Aggie like me can calculate that's about $72 million a day, folks, that goes to provide for the things that makes Texas better. Now, you all pretty much understand this. You live in this region. Many of you work in this region. You're associated with what goes on here. Not all Texans understand this, unfortunately. And so we need to be telling our friends, our neighbors, our cousins, our relatives, and other parts of the state what this means to their way of life, because you don't have to live in the middle of the oil patch to understand its benefits and to realize that energy security is equal to national security. And our nation is stronger and better because of oil and natural gas and what it provides. Since we've been calculating these numbers since 2007, we've seen that over $230 billion has been paid by this industry that contributes to all the different types of benefits that citizens enjoy. What you're looking at on the screen here are different numbers and records that were broken in 2023 that are already out of date today. And it is just phenomenal because of the innovation and the technology that has been invested in. And it's changing lives. In fact, almost 500,000 Texans have a job today because of oil and natural gas. And when you look at the indirect impact of oil and natural gas, not only do those 500,000 Texans have a job, but you have another 1.5 to 2 million Texans that have indirect jobs because of the related industries that benefit and that are here today and present in our state because of oil and natural gas. And the good news is these jobs pay pretty well. In fact, oil and natural gas jobs all pay almost twice what the private sector job is in Texas. And so this means more opportunities for families, more chances for parents to send their kids to Texas A&M. All kind of good things are happening out there when that occurs, right? If you look at where these dollars go, $1.8 billion goes directly to our permanent university fund and our permanent school fund. Our legislators use these dollars that are appropriated to benefit our public school system. The permanent university fund, University of Texas gets 2/3, Texas A&M gets 1/3. My Longhorn friends tell me we got 1/3 because we got first choice. Think about that. I'm highly offended by that. I want y'all to know. But that's the rumor that they perpetuate here. But that's not all that's done. $2.8 billion went directly to Texas school districts. Almost $900 million went to Texas counties. $3.3 billion went each. Glenn Hager carried a $3.3 billion check and went to the state's Economic Stabilization Fund. Also, we call it the Rainy Day Fund. And $3.3 billion check to the State Highway Fund. And Speaker Craddock, Senator Sparks have made certain that a lot of these dollars have come back to address the types of issues that Sergeant Blanco talked about today to improve the roadways, to make progress. And the Rainy Day Fund, disaster recovery, retired teachers, healthcare services have all benefited from the kinds of dollars that these gentlemen and their colleagues have appropriated. As a matter of fact, the Rainy Day Fund has received over $31 billion since 1997. It has made a big, big impact. Now, I asked you what the one issue was that could impact the oil and gas industry's social license to operate. The one issue that could impact all of these numbers that we've been talking about, make them disappear. And what is that one issue, one factor? It's politics, right? Politics can promote prosperity or it can hinder it. That is the real truth of it. And if you think about politics in Texas, we're pretty much a pro-oil and gas state still today. I think there's hiccups from time to time that we see in different areas of Texas that doesn't understand the oil and gas industry. I think at the federal level, we've seen many attempts to thwart oil and gas activity in this country. And what those actions do is move jobs to other countries, move benefits to other people in other parts of the world, and it robs families in America and in Texas from the benefits from oil and natural gas when we see that. These are just a few of the things that we see quite often. You've heard about a pause on LNG exports, right? I want to tell you, if you're keeping up with the price of natural gas, it's been negative, probably more trading days than positive out here at the Waha hub here in 2024. And yet, we've got a pause on granting permits to export more LNG. Makes no sense. We're talking about putting a fee on methane when methane is already a negative. It's a cost to producers today. These are wrong policies that send the wrong direction. Folks, we have people in Texas who want to so regulate the natural gas industry that they determine where it goes and how it's done. We've got people that want to do price controls on things. I mean, you just need to be a student of economics or history just a little bit to know it doesn't work. We talked about Venezuela already. That's what they tried. It doesn't work. We need markets that reward risk and encourage investment, and that's what we have here in Texas, and we certainly don't want to lose that. There are many other topics that are important in Texas. Did you enjoy a little bit of property tax relief thanks to the legislature here this last session? We need to make certain we continue to address property taxes and other areas. Other states are very competitive with Texas. They would love to have the jobs that come here. We also have some issues that are challenging the growth of the Permian Basin. Electricity generation and transmission line development are two big areas that we'll talk about here in just a moment with our special guest that could be an impediment to the future growth and success of the Permian Basin. I'm thankful that the legislature is taking a look at this, and oil and gas has done a good job projecting its growth. If you'll look at the graph on the right there, it talks about non-oil and gas loads in the Permian Basin, and it gives you an idea of where the non-oil and gas demand for electrical generation is likely to come from. Now, there's a lot of different estimates out there, and I don't know what estimates are right and which estimates are wrong, but I can tell you that growth is on its way. If we do not prepare infrastructure and build infrastructure, build more roads, build more transmission lines, build more pipelines, we'll not be able to continue to see the good and positive things that you all have enjoyed here the last few years. So what can we do about it? I talked about some numbers here the other day, the almost 500,000 Texans that have a direct job, the minimum of 1.4. We need to engage. We need to be an ambassador for our industry. We need to be telling this story when our commissioners and our constables go to state meetings and you visit with your peers from other counties. We need to make certain that they're understanding that the work that's done by your constituents is what's driving the economy of Texas. And we need to make certain that they're going to be our partners in speaking up for sound policies that are important. Every 2 years, we have a Texas Energy Day at the Capitol that all oil and gas trades participate in, and this year it's in February, and we hope that you'll make plans to join us at the Texas Capitol in February of 2025, and you get a free lunch if you come. Isn't that a great deal? All the food you can eat. But what we want you to do is to visit not only your state representative and your state senator, but we give a gift bag to all 181 members of the legislature, reminding them that oil and natural gas is what drives the Texas economy. We want to support Senator Sparks, Dean Craddock, and let their colleagues know that their constituents really care. Now, you have one more quiz before I wrap up and introduce our special guest here. There's a quote on the screen, And I want to see who can identify the author of that quote. Anybody? I don't know either. I was hoping you did. I don't know. I got this quote, and I was told that Thomas Jefferson was the author of it. And does that look like have you been to Mount Vernon? Does that look like a TJ quote to you? It doesn't me. It's a digital myth, I'm here to tell you. I can't tell you who said it, but I can tell you, if you don't have a seat at the table in politics, you become a part of the meal. That's just the reality of it. You have to engage. You have to be involved. You have to stand up for your interest and your rights, because there's a lot of other voices out there in the world today that are certainly telling theirs. And so if you're not a part of this, we can't have the kind of Texas that we can all be proud of. Now, the very last thing that we need to do is I need somebody to text me, take out your phone, and the only number you have to put in is 52886 and put in the word Texoga. And when somebody does that, we can move on here today. But I've got to wait till somebody says it, because you should get a response. So if you'll type the number 52886 and put in the word Texoga, somebody going to do that so we can keep rolling here today? Tell me if you've done it. You got it? Did you just subscribe for a 1 year? No. We won't blow you up. What that's designed to do, it gives you the option, if you want to be opted in when there's a bill going through the legislature that Dean Craddock and Senator Sparks need your help with, to tell others around the state that you need to get on board and help with this. Or if there is an event like today, the Permian Road Safety Coalition, that you want to know about, that's what you can do. So I thank you for the opportunity to share with this information with you today. I'm excited about the future of Texas. And one of the reasons I am is because we have a legislature that really cares about who you are. They care about your families. They care about your future. And we're very fortunate today to have two distinguished members. We have Dean Tom Craddock. Representative Craddock represents, I think, House District 82. He is the Dean of the Texas House. That means he has served longer than any other member in the Texas House. And Dean, you might be the longest serving state representative in America. Is that right? Y'all welcome Dean Tom Craddock to the stage. And we're so excited today to also have Senator Kevin Sparks. Kevin Sparks represents Senate District 31. Now, Kevin Sparks only represents 45 counties, folks. I don't know. That's not very much, right? He represents 45 counties in Texas. He serves on the Senate Natural Resources Committee and many other committees that are so important to our state. Let's welcome Senator Sparks and Dean Craddock to the stage.